Hello, my name is Anastasija Komkova, and today I will talk about the environmental and economic impacts of urban industrial symbiosis within recycling, waste, incineration, ashes into construction materials. And I have been working as a postdoctoral research at the chair of sustainable construction at the ETH Zurich, and this work has been done as part of the European research project AshCycle. And today I will present some of the results of this project. So I will start with presenting the urban waste treatment landscape in Europe. So two streams that we are looking at are municipal solid waste and sewage sludge, and approximately 48% of municipal solid waste are already being directly recycled, and 25% are being incinerated. So which results in approximately 15 million tons of fly and bottom ashes together are being generated annually in Europe. The situation with sewage sludge is quite similar. 33% of sewage sludge are being incinerated with energy recovery, but due to the lower quantities of sewage sludge produced, only 0.75 million tons of sewage sludge ashes are being generated in Europe. So approximately 50% of the total ashes are being used in the road construction. So it can be said that they are downcycled, or they 50% are being directly actually landfilled. It's also interesting to note that municipal solid waste and sewage sludge incineration contributes only slightly over 2% to the total European Union energy consumption, where the main sources of energy that are used in Europe are still fossil energy sources. So, waste incineration has quite a long history in Europe. Over the past 20 years, the total amount of waste that is being incinerated has nearly doubled. And there are multiple incineration plants and waste-to-energy plants that are located in Europe, as you can see on the map on the right. And also the number of these plants has been also increasing over the past years. As mentioned before, currently the ashes that are resulting from the incineration of municipal solid waste and sewage sludge are underutilized and to a large extent landfilled. So there are significant losses of metals, nutrients, and rare earth elements, and also different valuable minerals that are present in these ashes. So, what can happen to the ashes instead of being landfilled? So the ashes can undergo the pretreatment and resource recovery, and where different ferrous and non-ferrous metals can be extracted, as well as phosphorus and rare earth elements. So the ashes after the pretreatment can be used as secondary raw materials, so as mineral powder, as addition or directly as a binder, or as aggregates in construction materials. So the different types of construction materials that can be produced with ashes are the blended cements, alkali-activated concretes, carpstones, unfired fire bricks, granules, or use the recycled concrete aggregates. So this leads us to the main focus of the AshCycle project, in which are involved 7 European countries, as you can see on the little map on the right corner. And this brings us to this closed loop urban industrial symbiosis. And why it's closed loop? So as you see, the urban waste streams, municipal solid waste and sewage sludge are being incinerated, and ashes are being recycled to extract valuable metals and rare earth elements. And further, the metals can be used for the metal or electronic sectors, The phosphorus, for instance, can be used for production of fertilizers, and the ashes can be used in the different types of construction material production. And these construction materials, the metals and fertilizers, are further supplied to the urban environment. In this way, fully closing the loop within the urban industrial symbiosis. So this leads us to the question, how to assess urban industrial symbiosis? So how to identify if the urban industrial symbiosis is feasible from the environmental and also economic perspectives. So when we talk about the construction materials, the typical methodology used is life cycle assessment, so which evaluates the environmental impacts of a product or process throughout its entire life cycle. When we are examining the LCA of the construction materials, it typically looks at the cradle-to-gate system boundaries, which means raw material supply, transportation of the raw materials, and manufacturing of the actual construction materials. However, if we want to look at the impacts associated with the urban industrial symbiosis as a whole, we need to look at the regional perspective. So at the regional assessment level or territorial scale, let's say we can use the different methods and combine those. So the life cycle assessment can be combined with geospatial analysis and supply chain optimization. In this case, we are looking at the different actors within the urban industrial symbiosis. So the incinerators, the recycling plants, the different producers of the construction materials, and also the assay inputs. We are using the costs of the pretreatments, of the recycling of the minerals, the costs of the mixed constituents, and also avoided costs of the landfilling. And when I talk about the costs, it's both the environmental and economic costs. So the actual monetary costs and the emissions. Though, as a next step, we can perform the geospatial analysis and life cycle assessment together with the economic impact assessment. And those parameters are used as an inputs into the optimization model. And the objective of optimization model is to minimize environmental impacts and costs of the supply chains within urban industrial symbiosis, meaning it allows us to identify optimal application for ashes considering technological feasibility. And at the regional scale, we have the results for the baseline scenario and for the alternative. In this case, the baseline would be the absence of the urban industrial symbiosis, so where conventional construction materials are used and the ashes are underutilized, so landfilled, with alternative scenario which involves urban industrial symbiosis, so meaning that ashes are recycled and production and the alternative construction materials are produced. So this regional assessment framework allows us to identify optimal destinations for the ashes, for pretreatment, and for the production of construction materials, and quantify avoided CO2 emissions due to ash recycling, as well as quantify economic impacts of such urban industrial symbiosis. So, to identify the feasibility of urban industrial symbiosis, it's important to assess the potential supply chain networks. So in this case, we look at the baseline scenario, so business as usual scenario, and compare it with different types of the potential supply chain networks, including decentralized supply chain network, where the ashes can be transported directly to the producers of the construction materials for the further pretreatment, and as well as a centralized pretreatment supply chain network where the ashes are collected and transported to the single regional recycling plant where the metals are extracted and valuable substances such as phosphorus are recycled, And further, the pretreated ashes are moved towards the construction material producers. We also look at the different type of urban industrial symbiosis, which is the closed loop industrial symbiosis, in a sense that looking at what is the um, relationship between the cities that are providing waste and for incineration and waste energy plants that can supply ashes back to the cities. As part of the project, we looked at the different case studies. And in this study, we examined the potential recycling of municipal solid waste bottom ashes as supplementary cementitious materials in the Netherlands. So the objective was to identify cities that will be able to maintain closed-loop urban industrial symbiosis over time in waste supply for incineration and also in meeting the demand for low-carbon construction materials, where ashes can be used as supplementary cementitious materials. So in this study, we looked at the potential amounts of ashes that can be recycled as supplementary cementitious materials in 2024, and also we projected the future waste generation up to year 2050. And we identified how much of these ashes will be available in the future and which cities will be able to close the loop also now and in 2050, meaning that for those cities it will be feasible to start establishing real-scale urban industrial symbiosis for the long-term collaborations. So you can also look further at the methodology described in this recent paper that has been just published. Another interesting case study is the recycling of the sewage sludge ashes in Denmark. So in this case, we looked at the baseline scenario, so without urban industrial symbiosis, and alternative scenario with urban industrial symbiosis, where the main differences are that in urban industrial symbiosis, the ashes are pre-treated instead of being landfilled, and also the phosphorus is recovered from sewage sludge ashes to produce fertilizers, whereas in baseline, primary phosphate rock is being used in agriculture sector, and also conventional construction materials are produced. In an alternative scenario, the ashes are used to produce the alternative construction materials. So what are the impacts of urban industrial symbiosis at the regional scale, so at the national level? We see that alternative scenarios, which involves the urban industrial symbiosis, bring substantial benefits both in the environmental and economic terms. So we see that urban industrial symbiosis, which is alternative scenario, it brings us approximately 85% reduction in CO2 emissions, which mainly occur due to the avoided production of conventional cements and also avoided production of the primary phosphorus from the raw materials, from the phosphate rock. The cost, it's also 52% reduction in costs for the urban industrial symbiosis as a whole, which we see it's mainly due to avoided landfilling of the ashes and also the avoided production of conventional materials. Now, let's look what happens actually within urban industrial symbiosis. So we already saw that there are substantial savings at the regional scale. So the urban industrial symbiosis brings us reduction in CO2 emissions and costs. But what individual actors are experiencing within the urban industrial symbiosis? So in this case, we will look at these incineration plants, so waste to energy plants, the recycling plant that also produces fertilizers, and construction material producers. So if we look at the environmental impacts attributable to the actors, we see that all of the actors have also substantial reduction in CO2 emissions. So they have lower environmental impacts compared to the baseline scenario. The waste-to-energy plants has 64% of a reduction in CO2 emissions due to avoided transportation of the ashes to the landfills. Also, the fertilizer producers has lower CO2 emissions, as mentioned before, due to the recycling of the phosphorus instead of using the primary raw materials. And construction material producer that can substitute approximately 20% of the Portland cement with supplementary cementitious materials made with sewage sludge ashes can reduce its environmental impacts. However, when we talk about the costs, so the economic impacts of urban industrial symbiosis that experience each of the actors, the situation is slightly different. So we see that the incinerator plant and construction material producer reduce their costs compared to the baseline scenario, where, as mentioned before, that waste-to-energy plant is avoiding the landfilling of the ashes that it produces, and also construction material producer does not need to produce the primary cements. Whereas the situation is slightly different for the fertilizer producer. So the recycling of the phosphorus involves the substantial investments in new technology and also makes it nearly 2 times more expensive than production of the fertilizers from the primary phosphate rock, which leads us to the observation that in the real world, to form the urban industrial symbiosis that involves all of the actors, there should be sufficient incentives for each of them to participate. And with this, I would like to conclude today's presentation. And so the main points are that when we are talking about the urban industrial symbiosis, it's important to take into the consideration the regional perspective, so the territorial scale. And to do that, we can combine the life cycle assessment with geospatial analysis and optimization models to identify the optimal supply chains for the urban industrial symbiosis. Also, we see that at the regional scale, urban industrial symbiosis brings substantial environmental and economic benefits compared to the business as usual scenario where the ashes are not used, they are landfilled or downcycled for the road construction, for the road fillers, for example. However, if we look within urban industrial symbiosis, actors experience unequal economic gains. So we saw that the environmental impacts are lower for all of the actors. So from the environmental perspective, each of them would like to participate. But from the economic perspective, there are some winners and some losers, which indicates a need for further policy tool development and application of different incentive tools. With this, I would like to conclude and thank you very much for your attention. And I also would like to encourage you to visit the AshCycle project website, where you can find more information also regarding the construction materials itself, so the different types of construction materials that are being developed within the AshCycle. And also you can find some more information on the optimization and urban industrial symbiosis. Thank you very much.